Hi there again, Dr. Mr. Creative Man Guy here. Today I want to briefly go over a question that had come up, or a comment that had come up in response to my last video on how you can sort of train creativity, how you can practice it, and so the comment that was made on this ReasonTalk.com website, which is a website for Propellerhead Reason users that I frequent, there was a comment on Writer's Block that says, I have mixed opinions on this one, since it kind of depends if you're willing to do something creative, as you've described in the video. So basically this got me thinking, about how we think about the idea of writer's block and how we think about whether or not we're willing to do something creative. And what kind of popped into my head is that there's a distinction, I think, that needs to be made between the idea of a willingness to create or desire to create something and the actual concept of writer's block. And the reason that I think that there needs to be a distinction there is because writer's block is something that we talk about when we are trying to create something. It's something that it's something that comes up when we want to create something. We have a desire to create something. So obviously that's at odds with the idea of not being willing to create something. So I think the trap that a lot of us tend to get into with the idea of writer's block is to kind of conflate the two things and think that, because I have writer's block, that I shouldn't be creating something. And I think that's where my critique of the idea of writer's block comes into play. Because, again, if you have writer's block, you want to create, and for whatever reason, you're just having a difficult time of it. Now, you can have a difficult time of it and still be creative, and I think that's where I'm kind of going with this whole I don't believe in writer's block thing, because when we think of writer's block, it's usually like, it's not that we can't create something, it's that we're not creating something at the level that we're normally comfortable with, or, we may feel very creative and for whatever reason, we're just not living up to that expectation that we have in our heads. But again, we're not being creative. We're too focused on our own expectations of what the quality is going to be. And I think if you can drop that expectation of a particular level of quality, you can be creative and you can kind of incrementally get to that level of quality. So, I mean, that's kind of what my first set of videos was about. Really, Lily? So my first set of videos was about the idea of kind of incrementally getting to a level where you're happy with what you've created. And that's why I think it's kind of a fallacy logically to think about writer's block as something that I just need to shut down and come back to it later. Because you're not creating something when you're using writer's block as a reason to not create. Maybe you're not creating at the level you want to be, but that doesn't mean you're not creative. And again, you can, as you train, as you do these processes, as you use these tips and techniques in order to become more adept at being creative, you will find that you will be able to break out of the writer's block sort of mindset much more easily. So really, it's just about acknowledging creativity for what it is, which is coming up with something new and letting go of your expectation of how great it has to be right now. you can come up with something that's okay and work on it until it's something great. I'm sure every one of you has done that at some point. And if you haven't, you can. So, you know, that's just my thoughts on this particular topic. I think that it's a great way to kind of view it and keep yourself in the mindset of not giving up on being creative if you really want to be creative. And just, you know, taking those incremental steps and getting to a point where you're happy with the final product. So that's really it for this video. So if you liked it, like it. And if you like this and my other videos, please subscribe. And that's it. So go make some music. Later.